You have lived as prey without realizing it. Every day you wake up and imagine yourself free, guided by choice, protected by morality, cushioned by society's false assurances. Yet look closely. You obey commands you never questioned. You follow paths you never designed. And you call this freedom. I will not let you hide behind illusions. I will tear them from you. You are not free. You are controlled. You are moved like a pawn across a board you did not build. A board on which others already plotted your defeat before you even knew you were a piece in the game. You cling to comfort, to the belief that people are good, that honesty is rewarded, that justice prevails. And yet your own life gives the lie. The obedient are trampled, the kind are drained, the naive are sacrificed. You have been living in a dream, and that dream has cost you power, opportunity, and respect. Look at yourself tamed by the very forces that exploit you, conditioned to smile while you are stripped of everything worth owning. That is why you are weak. That is why you are unseen. That is why you have been devoured by those who had the courage to manipulate where you insisted on being sincere. Do you think rulers built empires with sincerity? Do you think generals won campaigns by waiting for fairness? Do you think the cunning bowed to the innocent? No. Power has always belonged to those who understood that manipulation is not an evil. It is the bloodstream of reality. I warned princes of my time that loyalty is a rope that frays, that mercy is a weakness exploited, that trust is a blade placed willingly into another man's hand. And I watch you, centurie la terre, still feeding yourself to wolves and calling it virtue. You are pathetic because you have mistaken morality for strategy. Strip away your illusions. The world is not a church, it is a battlefield. Every encounter is a maneuver. Every conversation is a negotiation of dominance. Every relationship is a test of control. The person who influences perception commands reality. The one who shapes emotion dictates choice. And the one who has the discipline to act with calculation rather than conscience always wins in the end. This is not philosophy. This is reconnaissance. This is psychological warfare, conducted daily under the polite masks of society. You have been blind because you were trained to be blind. Since childhood, you were conditioned into obedience, respect authority. Wait your turn. Be nice. Suppress your hunger. Never offend. Never disrupt. You internalized this programming until passivity felt like virtue. You were stripped of aggression, ambition, and cunning. You were declawed, disarmed, and delivered as prey to a world built on predation. This is why you lose jobs to less qualified competitors, why you surrender in relationships, why you beg for crumbs of approval instead of commanding loyalty. You are chained by invisible orders, orders written into your nervous system long before you understood you were at war. I tell you now, you are not at peace. You are in a campaign of attrition. Every day, you bleed strength to those who understand the terrain better than you. They flank you, exploit your blind spots, cut your supply lines of confidence, and feed off your hesitation. You believe you are choosing kindness. In reality, you are surrendering your position without a fight. And the cost is everything: your autonomy, your dignity, your influence. If you continue as you are, your future is already written. You will remain expendable. You will be overlooked, dismissed, silenced, dominated. Others will build power on your back and laugh at your loyalty. You will die, remembered not as a commander, but as a casualty. That is the price of refusing to learn how manipulation works. That is the fate of those who mistake obedience for strength. But I offer you another path. Do not seek comfort here, for I will not give it. I will give you weapons. I will arm you with a playbook that exposes the machinery behind influence and teaches you to command it. If you absorb what I say, and practice it with precision, you will not remain prey. You will become dangerous. You will manipulate perception. You will direct outcomes. You will bend reality to your advantage. And when others encounter you, they will feel it instantly. You are not to be trifled with, not to be underestimated, not to be owned. Strategy dictates that you must first study the battlefield before you act. The battlefield you occupy is human psychology. Most live in illusions, and illusions are soft targets. They crave validation, fear rejection, and hunger for belonging. These are weaknesses. Manipulation is the art of pressing those weaknesses until obedience flows naturally. The masses need to believe, to feel, to be guided. The manipulator does not ask, does not wait, does not hope. The manipulator engineers belief, constructs perception, and imposes command. Do you think this is cruel? Then remain weak. But if you are prepared to accept that life itself is a campaign of power, then listen. Every human carries supply lines: self-esteem, fear, desire. Cut one, and they collapse. Secure one, and they follow you as if by instinct. Your task is not to reveal your intent, but to cloak it, to approach like a shadow across enemy lines, to make them believe they chose what you decided. Influence is not force. It is precision. It is infiltration. It is making another man's will your instrument without his awareness. Why have you been blind? Because you believed sincerity was enough. Because you mistook weakness for virtue. Because you thought loyalty would shield you. Let me destroy this delusion. Loyalty is fragile, shifting like wind across sand. Men swear fidelity until a better offer appears. Friends remain allies until their interest demands betrayal. Lovers promise eternity until another hand tempts them. The manipulator knows this and never relies on vows. He constructs chains stronger than promises, chains forged from leverage, dependency, fear, and desire. You have obeyed because you feared disapproval. You have remained silent because you feared confrontation. You have submitted because you feared loss. These fears have been your jailers. But fear is a weapon. If you learn to reverse its direction, to plant fear in others rather than drowning in it yourself, you will command them. The general who controls morale controls the campaign. The manipulator who controls emotion controls reality. I have seen rulers rise because they understood this. I have seen empires fall because leaders trusted when they should have calculated. Every downfall comes from naivety, from ignoring the fact that human beings are not governed by morality, but by necessity, interest, and fear. Accept this, and you can begin to operate as a commander rather than a pawn. Refuse it, and you will perish, still clinging to ideals that never protected you. You have been taught to see manipulation as corruption. That belief keeps you weak. You recoil at the word, as if it were poison. Yet every power that ever touched your life was manipulation. Religion manipulated your conscience. Politics manipulated your fear. Business manipulated your hunger. Family manipulated your loyalty. Lovers manipulated your desire. You are not a stranger to manipulation. You are its victim. The only difference between those who dominate and those who are dominated is whether they recognize the game and learn to play it. You, until now, have refused to see. That refusal is the true corruption. Blindness while others seize command over your existence. Machiavellian strategy dictates clarity first. You must strip away sentiment. On the battlefield, hesitation is death, and sentiment is hesitation disguised as principle. You cannot negotiate with illusions. You cannot lead with naivety. A general does not stand on the ridge waiting for the enemy to strike out of fairness. He positions, deceives, advances, and strikes when the enemy is exposed. So too must you with people. Those who think life is built on honesty will remain broken. For honesty alone persuades no one. It is perception, not truth, that wins allegiance. And perception can always be engineered. You wonder why you have been invisible, why your influence has been so easily dismissed. It is because you speak plainly while others craft narratives. It is because you reveal intent while others conceal. It is because you play by rules written for fools while others maneuver behind the curtain. The battlefield does not reward the honest soldier who marches upright into the line of fire. It rewards the commander who flanks, who distracts, who feeds false intelligence until the enemy collapses in confusion. In human affairs, manipulation is this flank. It is the art of never striking directly, but ensuring every move is already tilted in your favor before the opponent even raises a hand. Do not imagine this requires cruelty for its own sake. Strategy is not cruelty, it is efficiency. A manipulator does not waste time demanding loyalty. He engineers dependency. He does not waste energy proving his worth. He arranges perception so others assume it. He does not wait for opportunity. He manufactures it, planting ideas, directing choices, altering emotions. This is not mystical. It is reconnaissance and exploitation. Where there is weakness, you exploit. Where there is uncertainty, you dictate. Where there is hunger, you feed selectively. And where there is fear, you magnify it until obedience is natural. Your conditioning has kept you a servant. You were told to be kind, to be humble, to wait. You were told manipulation is immoral. Who told you this? The manipulators themselves. They spread this lie so you would never develop the very weapon they wield against you. It is the perfect trick, convincing prey that claws are evil, convincing slaves that freedom is dangerous, convincing pawns that ambition is shameful. You swallowed this poison and built your life upon it, and so you walk unarmed, while those around you sharpen daggers. I will arm you now, but you must first accept this. Morality is irrelevant to power. Morality is a story rulers tell to justify their grip. Power is not moral or immoral. It is terrain. You either command it or are buried beneath it. Understand this truth, and your strategy can begin. Denude it, and you will continue living as you are used. Discarded. Invisible. Look at how power truly operates. Influence flows not to the honest, but to the strategic. Respect is not earned by fairness, but by projection of strength. Fear is not avoided. It is commanded. Love is not given freely. It is cultivated by dependency and absence. Everything you value: loyalty, respect, admiration can be engineered, not begged for. Yet you continue to beg. That is why you are humiliated. That is why others laugh when you leave the room. You present yourself as prey, and prey is always consumed. The cost of your naivety has already been enormous. Think of the opportunities you lost because you hesitated. Think of the betrayals you suffered because you trusted. Think of the relationships where you gave endlessly while the other extracted from you without resistance. You call this bad luck. I call it your failure to operate strategically. Every weakness you allowed yourself became a weapon for others to wield against you. Every hesitation gave your enemies time to regroup. Every illusion you clung to was a blindfold they exploited. But enough about your losses. Now we sharpen your weapons. The first law of manipulation: conceal your intent. A general never announces the direction of his attack. A manipulator never reveals the true aim of his words. You must learn to cloak ambition behind indifference, desire behind restraint, strategy behind sincerity. People trust what they cannot read. They fear what they cannot predict, and they obey what they cannot understand. The less they see, the more they project, and their projections are levers you can use. The second law: control perception. Truth is irrelevant. Perception is everything. Men are governed not by facts, but by appearances. You can fail yet project confidence and be seen as strong. You can be weak, yet cloak yourself in silence and be mistaken for dangerous. You can hold nothing, yet convince others you hold everything. Control what they see, and you control what they believe. Control what they believe, and you command what they do. The third law: weaponize emotion. Reason is a myth. Men are not rational. They are vessels of fear, desire, pride, and insecurity. If you can spark these forces, you can lead them anywhere. Feed their vanity, and they will defend you. Stoke their fear, and they will submit to you. Ignite their desire, and they will pursue what you dictate. You do not need truth, only triggers. Master these triggers, and you will find men bending themselves into chains without ever realizing they locked themselves. The fourth law: build dependency. The strongest chain is need. If someone needs you, they will excuse your flaws, forgive your betrayals, and beg for your presence. Dependency can be engineered through resources, through validation, through selective absence. Give rarely, withhold often, and let them hunger. Hunger will bind them tighter than love ever could. The more they depend, the less they resist. And when the moment comes to command, they will obey without thought. The fifth law: strike when weakness appears. Every human reveals cracks, moments of uncertainty, insecurity, or desire. Most people wait for the right time out of politeness. A manipulator waits for the right time out of strategy. When the enemy falters, you advance. When hesitation shows, you impose. When doubt creeps in, you fill it with your command. This requires vigilance. You must observe, analyze, and record every pattern, every insecurity, every desire. Reconnaissance wins wars. Observation fuels. Manipulation. These laws are not theory. They are weapons. Use them and you will see the battlefield shift. Those who ignored you will defer to you. Those who mocked you will tread carefully. Those who thought they controlled you will find themselves confused, frustrated, weakened, and you will smile silently, because you will know what they do not, that you engineered their reality. But understand this: strategy demands discipline. Manipulation is not reckless improvisation. It is precise, calculated, measured. You do not blurt. You do not boast. You do not reveal. You move like a shadow, always present, never obvious. This is the chain of command. You command yourself first, your impulses, your tongue, your expression. A soldier who cannot obey discipline loses battles before they begin. A manipulator who cannot master his own emotions is already a slave to others. So I ask you, will you continue to live as prey? Will you continue to bleed while others feast? Will you continue to excuse your weakness as kindness and your passivity as virtue? Or will you sharpen yourself into a weapon, cold and precise, a presence that cannot be ignored, a commander of perception, a manipulator of the battlefield you once feared? Do not answer me with words. Words are worthless. Answer me with strategy. Answer me by discarding your illusions and training your mind like a blade. Answer me by treating every interaction as reconnaissance, every weakness as a target, every exchange as a campaign. Answer me by never again offering your throat to the wolves. Answer me by becoming dangerous. You believe people think clearly. They do not. They stagger through life in fog, driven not by reason but by hunger, fear, and vanity. That is why manipulation is simple for those who see clearly. The masses crave comfort, not truth. They prefer illusion to reality. They would rather obey than think, so long as obedience gives them the feeling of belonging. This is your battlefield, a population desperate to be led, yet arrogant enough to imagine they are free. I once warned that men are ungrateful, fickle, deceptive, eager to flee danger, greedy for gain. Nothing has changed. You live among the same weak creatures, only dressed in modern clothing. Do not be fooled. Their hearts remain the same. They pretend to care for justice, but they move only when threatened. They pretend to value loyalty, but they betray at the first opportunity. They pretend to love virtue, but they bow only before power. This is why your illusions must die. If you keep treating them as noble, you will remain their victim. If you treat them as they are fragile, vain, manipulable, you will dominate them. You have been conditioned to seek fairness. There is no fairness. There is only leverage. Whoever holds leverage commands terms. Whoever lacks leverage begs for crumbs. That is why you suffer. You cling to ideals while others weaponize reality. They do not hesitate to exploit your sincerity, and you reward them by calling it bad luck. Stop lying to yourself. You are not unlucky. You are unarmed. Let us speak of reconnaissance. The essence of all manipulation. Every enemy reveals his weakness. Every ally reveals his dependency. Every lover reveals her insecurity. You must train your eye to see these cracks. Do not listen to words alone. Watch behavior. Watch patterns. Watch what people avoid speaking about. Watch where their eyes shift when threatened. Every silence is intelligence. Every hesitation is data. And intelligence is ammunition. The manipulator is a spy on the battlefield of human behavior. He maps terrain. Others ignore. Estudie désir. Fears. Loyalties. Rivalries. He collects these fragments until a clear picture forms. Then he acts not with force, but with precision. Why strike blindly when you can guide the opponent's hand to deliver your victory for you? Why waste energy forcing obedience when you can make them believe obedience was their idea? Most men think power is in strength. They are wrong. Strength is visible and invites resistance. True power is invisible and creates compliance without effort. A commander does not always need to crush the enemy. Sometimes he convinces the enemy to surrender before the first arrow flies. Manipulation is this invisible siege, a slow strangling of the mind until obedience feels like relief. Consider fear. It is the oldest weapon. You have been ruled by it since birth, made to obey teachers, parents, employers, laws. Fear shapes you still. Why not reverse it? Why not weaponize it? If you command fear, you control action. A subtle word, a withheld approval, an ambiguous silence. These plant seeds of uncertainty. When someone fears losing your favor, they obey preemptively. When someone fears your disapproval, they betray themselves to please you. You do not need to raise your voice. Fear does the work silently, invisibly, efficiently. But fear alone is not enough. Fear must be balanced with reward. Desire pulls as strongly as fear pushes. People want validation, status, intimacy, opportunity. If you position yourself as the source of what they crave, they will align themselves to your will. Withhold to increase hunger. Reward sparingly to intensify attachment. This is the supply line of dependency. Feed them little, starve them often, and they will fight to protect their access to you. That is how kings were guarded, how rulers were adored, how lovers were worshipped. You hesitate because you confuse manipulation with cruelty. That is weakness. Manipulation is structure, not cruelty. It is simply the control of psychological supply lines. Cruelty is wasteful. Strategy is efficient. If cruelty is required, it is precise, cold, and final, not indulgent. You do not strike to indulge emotion. You strike to alter the balance of power. Remember this discipline, or you will turn into a tyrant, and tyrants are overthrown. Strategists endure. You must understand the cost of hesitation. Hesitation kills campaigns before they begin. The moment you sense weakness in another and fail to act, you surrender your advantage. That weakness closes, that opportunity evaporates, and your enemy regains strength. I have seen rulers fall because they hesitated when betrayal was visible. I have seen generals lose wars because they delayed their strike one day too long. You, too, have lost much because you delayed. You felt doubt. You saw an opening. You hesitated, and another seized what should have been yours. How many times will you bleed before you accept that hesitation is betrayal of yourself? You tell yourself you want peace. Fool. Peace is not given. Peace is enforced. If you cannot enforce it, you will never know it. If you cannot command, you will be commanded. If you cannot manipulate, you will be manipulated. This is the iron law. Do not comfort yourself with fantasies of neutrality. Neutrality is surrender, dressed as dignity. On the battlefield, the neutral man is shot from both sides. On the field of power, the neutral man is consumed by all. You ask, what is the price of remaining naive? The price is servitude. The price is mediocrity. The price is to live as a pawn, carrying out the strategies of others without realizing you were their instrument. Look at your past jobs where you were disposable, relationships where you were replaceable, friendships where loyalty was illusion. That was the cost of your blindness. If you remain blind, the cost will only grow heavier. They will drain you until nothing remains but bitterness. They will exploit your labor, your love, your loyalty, and discard you without ceremony. That is the future you choose if you refuse transformation. The manipulator transforms by embracing cold clarity. You must stop seeking approval. Approval is weakness. You must stop seeking fairness. Fairness is bait. You must stop seeking comfort. Comfort is sedation. Instead, you must seek leverage. You must seek perception. You must seek control. These are the only currencies that matter. The time has come for you to act not as pawn but as commander. Your life must become a campaign. Every day you wake is another movement of troops, another maneuver, another skirmish in the endless war for control. See it as such, and you will grow sharp. See it otherwise, and you will remain blind. Discipline yourself. Study others. Speak less. Observe more. Cloak intent. Project strength. Engineer dependency. Weaponize fear. Reward selectively. Strike at weakness. This is your chain of command. This is Machiavelli's playbook. Do not think you can adopt it halfway. Half measures destroy. A commander who hesitates loses both mercy and victory. You must commit fully. Either remain prey and accept your chains, or become predator and impose them. Choose. The battlefield does not wait. Power does not pause. Others are manipulating you already. They are advancing while you stall. If you continue as you are, you will die as you lived obedient, overlooked, irrelevant. But if you choose now, if you accept this ruthless clarity, you will transform into something dangerous, something commanding, something untouchable. I give you no blessing, no comfort, no apology. I give you only truth, sharp and merciless. The choice is yours. Remain a pawn, or rise as manipulator. Remain prey, or command as predator. Remain weak, or Zeitze control. Decide now, for delay is death. You stand at a crossroads. One path is the same path you have always walked: obedience, hesitation, illusions of morality, faith that someone else will protect you. That path ends in chains. The other path is jagged, cold, merciless. It demands discipline. It demands cunning. It demands the death of your innocence. But it is the only path where you are no longer prey. It is the path of manipulation, of strategy, of ruthless clarity. Only there will you learn to command rather than be commanded. You must now choose whether you will continue as you are or transform into something feared, respected, obeyed. You cannot remain in between. Half a manipulator is nothing but a fool who believes he is clever. You must commit fully or not at all. To wield this playbook requires total clarity. You must cut out the infection of hesitation. You must burn away the rot of sentimentality. You must kill the weakness that kept you chained. Only then can you rise. Remember this: power does not announce itself. It is projected, constructed, enforced. The battlefield is perception. The weapons are fear, desire, dependency, and silence. The terrain is human psychology. Every man you meet is either ally, pawn, or rival. There is no neutrality. Every woman you love is either loyal because of dependency or dangerous because of freedom. There is no middle ground. Every situation is either opportunity or threat. You must train yourself to see with these eyes, or you will remain blind forever. Do not think you can wait. Every day you hesitate. Others advance. They are already manipulating you. They already map your weaknesses, exploit your fears, drain your loyalty. You are already losing ground. This is not preparation for some distant war. You are in the war now, and you are losing. Every wasted day is another defeat, another humiliation, another opportunity gone. Stop lying to yourself that you are safe. You are not. A manipulator does not beg. A manipulator does not explain. A manipulator does not justify. He acts. He manoeuvres. He directs. He commands perception so completely that others believe they chose freely. That is true victory when they obey and thank you for it. When they surrender and call it loyalty. When they bleed and call it devotion. This is not cruelty. This is reality. To refuse it is to let others do it to you instead. You will be hated for this. Good, fear, and respect are more valuable than love. Love is conditional. Fear endures. Respect solidifies. The masses will whisper that you are cold, ruthless, manipulative. Let them whisper. Their words are proof of your power. They will not leave. They will not rebel. They will remain bound, because their fear of losing you outweighs their hatred of you. This is the paradox of command. Those who curse you in secret obey you in silence. But hear this warning. Power must be maintained with vigilance. Discipline is your shield. Arrogance is your death. The moment you believe you are untouchable, you are already falling. The moment you indulge instead of calculate, you are already compromised. Many rulers fell not because they lacked power, but because they lost discipline. They grew lazy, indulgent, sentimental. They forgot that every day is war. Do not forget. Do not relax. Do not soften. The price of control is eternal vigilance. If you accept this path, you must train. You must observe without pause. Every word you hear is intelligence. Every silence you witness is data. You must sharpen your mind to cut through excuses, through lies, through illusions. You must speak less. But when you speak, your words must strike with precision. You must reveal nothing, project everything, and always maneuver from the shadows. Cloak yourself in unpredictability. Let them wonder. Let them fear. Let them need. This is the craft of manipulation. This is the art of command. I have told you the laws. Conceal intent. Control perception. Weaponize emotion. Build dependency. Strike at weakness. Enforce discipline. Maintain vigilance. These are your pillars. Practice them until they are instinct. Until hesitation is dead. Until sentiment is silenced. Until you move through the battlefield of life with the presence of a commander, and others fall into formation without even realizing why. You cannot return to your old life after hearing this. You cannot unsee what I have shown you. You either rise or you decay. You either become dangerous or remain dominated. You either step into command or continue as pawn. There is no middle ground. So I ask you now, not as teacher, but as strategist to soldier, will you continue to be manipulated, or will you become the manipulator? Will you remain prey, or will you hunt? Will you cling to your illusions, or will you arm yourself with clarity? You cannot delay. Delay is defeat. The moment of decision is now. Choose. If you choose weakness, leave. Close your ears. Retreat into illusions. Return to your chains. Continue serving. Continue bleeding. Continue dying a slow death of irrelevance. No one will save you. No one will remember you. If you choose power, then stand. Burn your illusions. Kill your hesitation. Arm your mind. Discipline your will. Become ruthless. Precise. Silent. Command yourself first. Then command the world. Become manipulator. Become dangerous. Become commander. This is your call to action. Obey and perish. Manipulate and rule. The choice is yours. But understand this, your enemy has already chosen.